always tempted to say our closing keynote speaker is Phil Bradley, who needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. So, amongst other things, Phil is the author of this book by Facet, Expert Internet Searching, and it is the 5th edition. What I really liked about this was in the foreword he says, when you look back at the first edition, so much has changed that it's almost not a 5th edition. It's almost like a new book completely, because it's a moving target, internet searching, and in fact much of what we do as internet librarians. The other thing I would say about Phil, apart from the fact that he's an internet expert, he is owned by a dog named Rusty. And Phil is going to talk about the last 20 years, because this is our 20th, and so Phil's going to do some reminiscing for us. Phil.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's always nice to see people who actually are able to make it to the last session, so congratulations to all of you. I'd like to thank my co-chairs. I'd like to thank the Information Today team. I'd also like to thank the Director of Programming, Val Skelton in particular, for the fantastic job that she's done, not only this year, but sort of like going back a number of years. I won't embarrass Val by saying how many years, but she's done a great job. This is also my very last talk at my very last conference, so it's kind of an interesting thing for me. As a result, I've not actually prepared anything, so I'm going to be as interested to find out what I talk about as everybody else. Mary Dee talked about going back 20 years. I can, worryingly, very recently go back 40 years, because I attended my 40th anniversary reunion of my first day at library school. And thinking about that 40 years, the last 20 years that we've had with ILI, when I was doing my library degree, there was one little term segment on computing, which I didn't take because I didn't think computers were ever going to be particularly important within a library setting. So that shows how little that I knew. When I got my first job, I worked for the British Council, and we provided information to our offices abroad. And one of the things that I found particularly interesting was one of my colleagues did bibliographic searching, and she spent a lot of time looking at PubMed. And on the occasion of the British Council's 50th anniversary, the Queen came round. And it was a really big thing at that point, because my friend was doing some searching on haemophilia and the royal family, and the Queen actually stopped and she watched what was going on, because this was brand new stuff. And it was what we did. It's what librarians did. We looked at the stuff that was out there, and we started grabbing it before anybody else. And within the British Council, the first people to play with computers and information in that format were the information team. And there are lots of terminologies that we can use for information professionals. I'll just, if you will excuse me, just use librarian, because it's a nice shorthand, but I'm thinking about librarians, archivists, researchers, information choreographers, whatever it is that you would like to call them. I'll refer to them as librarians. And so we were pushing ahead in that area. And then a couple of years after that, we got access to this really weird, strange thing called email. And I remember Blaise Cronin, of all people, came to the British Council, and we very proudly showed him our one computer in the whole floor that we were working on. And it was such a new concept, we asked him if he would like to send himself an email. And so he did. And in that email, he said, well, here we are, and isn't it fun? And for me, that's absolutely spot on, because what we do is we are here. We are here right now doing stuff, and isn't it fun? So after a while of sort of like playing around with email and things of that nature, we got our own computers, which are all terribly exciting. And then in the late 80s, I discovered this really weird thing called CD-ROM technology. And I went to work for a company called Silver Platter, and we produced databases. My mic gone a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can somebody up there sort it? Let's see if you can. Yeah, I suppose I need to say something. So it really doesn't help for me to keep talking or not talking and see if the thing works. So I'll carry on nonetheless. I discovered this whole CD-ROM thing, and it was really interesting because the people that were pushing ahead with CD-ROM technology were the librarians. It wasn't the technical people in the organisation, it was us. And I'm getting some assistance. Okay, I'll keep talking.
I'm not here.
Brilliant. Okay. I better hadn't moved, just even though you're not here. And so for that, it was really interesting because what I had to do was send out our CD-ROM databases to the librarians, and we also had to send out CD-ROM drives, and we had to send out interface cards, and I had to talk librarians through opening up the back of their computers, putting the interface card in properly seated, closing it all up, installing the software, linking and daisy chaining, thank you very much, all of these different things together. And it was us doing that. We, as a group, as librarians, we were introducing information and access to information to the organisation in a way that had, until that point, been unimaginable. The idea that people could sit at their desks and search a remote database and to do it for themselves and to have had that facilitated by the librarian was a remarkable achievement. It's something we can think about these days, and we can be very blasé about it, but we really do need to go back and think that it was us that were doing it. We were the ones that were pushing this ahead. And then we got into the idea of daisy chaining and networking CD-ROM drives, and then the technical people in the organisation were saying, no, this isn't about information, this is about the technical stuff. So they took that over. But at about the same kind of period of time, in sort of like the mid-1990s to the late 1990s, that was when we started to see the rise of the internet. And I have very fond memories of those very early days because librarians being librarians, what we wanted to do was we wanted to catalog and classify it and make it all nice and neatly available and everything like that. And to an extent, you know, we still do that with things like LibGuides as well. But we were the ones that were saying this internet thing is going to be really important. We were the ones that were pushing ahead with that as a concept. We were the ones who were introducing it to other people in the organisation, because that's what we do. We go out there and we find this stuff and we make it available for other people to use. We try to make their lives better. And I don't really care what library you're from or what subject area you're in. What we do is central to our key being. If you strip away the libraries, if you strip away the books and the databases and the magazines and everything, what you've still got left is a librarian, which is what we all do. We are the ones that are out there doing that stuff for other people. And at about that period of time, we got ILI come in, and I've always enjoyed this as a conference for lots of different reasons. It's always been very innovative. And so for me, I learned an awful lot about what libraries and librarians were doing in the variety of different areas that we work with, the internet and with databases and all of that sort of really good stuff. And what I liked particularly was this has always been a very friendly, a very open conference to be at. It's not had sort of this sort of like strange academic, oh no, it's that thing over there. It's for us. And whenever I've been at ILI, since about 2003, I think I've been to just about every one of them, either as a participant or a moderator or just as a regular punter. It's one of the friendliest places to be. And it's friendly because of the way in which people have put ILI together. But it's friendly because of all of us. Because what we see in each and every one of us is a wish and a desire to help other people. And that's really the heart of what our profession is. I've said on many occasions in the past that being a librarian is the best and the most important profession in the world, because everybody else comes to us. At some point in their career, they have to go into a library, they've got to talk to a librarian, and the librarian is in a position to help and to facilitate whatever it is that they might happen to want. We are a key and essential and integral part of the way that any organisation works, be it Houses of Parliament, or be it a university or a school or a college or a community or a company. We are there right at the centre. We're not out there on the fringes, because we deal with the thing that everybody needs, information. And right the way back to when I was about 12 or 13, I met my careers officer, and my careers officer said, you know, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to be a librarian. And she said, oh, is that because you like books? And I said, no, it's because I want the power. I was a very precocious child at that point. And she said, what? And I said, if I'm a librarian, I know how to find stuff out. That puts me in a very powerful position, because I can then pass that on to other people. And throughout the course of the career that I have had, I have maintained that our role is one of power, because we are the people that know stuff. We can get that stuff and we can pass it on to others. And we do something much more than that, much more magical than that. And I was going through the programme, and I just highlighted some of the titles that we've had over the last 2 days. Now, all of these are really interesting talks and discussions and papers in and of their own right. And they're all in different areas: future focus, understanding users, inclusion and inspiration. So there's the 3 different tracks, and they're all doing different things. But the key that I want to really bring in here is the following: inclusion and participation, user-centred services, building digital libraries for all, a place for all, ethics, privacy and fighting the fake, engaging new students, inspiring participation, curation, creation, collaboration, communities collaborating, loud in the library, collaboration to support learners. It doesn't matter whether you're dealing with books or magazines or databases or the internet or any of those other trappings that are out there. What you do is essential to your community, because you are key in that community. You are building that community. You have the power within that community, because that's what we do. And I find it very interesting, and I'm sure you've all sighed when people have said, oh, we don't need librarians anymore, it's all available on the internet, you can get it all from Google. Now, we know the line to that, but we really need to start pushing, perhaps even harder than we have done before. But that's not what it's about. Being a librarian is not about the books, it's not about the magazines, it's not about searching on the internet. What it is about is our community. What it is about is protecting that community and empowering that community. And one of the most powerful things I can see is the way in which librarians are able to stand alone and to be able to be, in some ways, without wishing to overrate it, be a beacon. When you've got the Patriot Act in the United States and librarians standing up to that, when librarians stand up to censorship, when librarians stand up to banned books, because that's what we do. We do not stand there and take it, because that's not us. What is us, what is the central core being of all of us, is going out there, going to those communities and helping those communities, empowering and bettering those communities. And if we look at what's happening in the world today, it's a very, very frightening place. And I'd love to be able to go back to almost those halcyon days of 20 years ago when everything seemed so simple and straightforward, and you went onto the internet and there was good stuff out there and you used it and you took it away and that was the end of it. We are now in an environment where we can't believe anything that we see. When we're looking at the ability for people to create deep fakes, to make it impossible to look at a video and to see if the person within that video is telling the truth, if that is a video of that particular individual. What we have now got in society are people at the very, very top of our societies lying, pushing their own agendas, and we are supposed to take it. And we have people right down at the bottom who have their own agendas, be they religious, political, or whatever else they might happen to be, and they are pushing their own agenda on places like social media. And when you go on to social media and you see one of the highest in the land frankly lying to us, you don't know if that person actually is lying or whether it's a fake that's been made to look as though it's them, when in actual fact it isn't. So what we have to do, more than ever, such a vital role that we have got, is to be able to look at all of that stuff that's out there. We cannot sit by and ignore all of that ignorance, because that's not what we do. What we do is we fight that ignorance, and we fight that ignorance in the best and the only possible way that we can do, by getting out there, by telling the truth. And we stand up for that truth, we stand up for that liberty, and we do it not only in our day-to-day work, but we do it at conferences like this. And every single person that comes to this conference, every single person that speaks at it or moderates it, wants exactly the same thing. They want a better society for all of us, because that's what we do. We are not here to just do a job and go home at the end of the day. We are here to make people's lives better, whether it's the young student at school, whether it's the academic, whether it's somebody that just wants to get on and do their job, because that's what we do. There is no greater profession in the world, and I will maintain that till the day that I die, than being a librarian. So I see people who go to work in whatever job it is that they happen to do, and I feel sorry for them, quite frankly, because they are not doing the job that we do. They are not in a position to do what we do, which is to make the lives better, and I will keep repeating this until I get told off. That's what we are there for. We make life better for everybody. And we do that in so many different ways. Each and every single one of you is doing that, and I will applaud each and every single one of you for doing that. We do not do the job that we do because we're going to make thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever else it is that you would like to call it. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is a much higher calling than that. Our purpose is to make things better, to enrich and improve a society. One of the things that I wrote in my blog a long time ago, and I just kind of like wrote it, and I didn't really think very much of it, but it's come back ever since then, quite often. And some people like it, some people don't, but I wanted to read it to you. What librarians and Google are for. The important bit is the first bit. I'll give you the punchline now. Google's there to make money, so let's get that bit out of the way. Librarians are there to help aid, assist, to teach, collate, enthuse, to catalogue, index, arrange, organise, to find, discover, promote, display, to interest, intrigue, amuse, and amaze, to instil wonder, to help children, adults, old people and the underprivileged, the rich, the poor, those with voices and those without, to protect resources, to archive them, to provide differing viewpoints, to save points into the future, to engender thought, conversation, research, and fun, to provide the best answer possible to match the answer to the inquirer, to provide just enough information without overwhelming the user, but enough to always help, to better a local community, a company, a school, a college, an organisation, a country, the world. Because that is our calling. It is not us in our little silos. It is us all together, whichever country you come from. We are coming together. We are there to help each other. I love the fact that I can go to any place in the world. There's a library there. I am at home. Because being at home, being comforted, being surrounded, being helped, that's what we do. And we've always done it. So where are we going into the future? I don't know. If I knew, I'd be a millionaire by now. I'm quite convinced of it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if in the future we don't have books, we don't have magazines, we don't have the internet in the way that we have at the moment. None of that matters. Those are just the trappings. What we will always have into the future, what we will have when it comes to ILI's 40th anniversary, are us, you and I, doing our jobs of learning, understanding, pushing that information out to people. Because that's what we do. And it doesn't matter how you do it. And you all do it in your own different and unique and important ways that we've seen at this conference and all of the previous conferences. So I really just want to leave you with this point. When you go into work, tomorrow, next week, go in with your head held high. Go in with a slightly jauntier step. Go in with a confidence and a power, because you do have that power. And I don't care what anybody says. You do know how to do things, and you do know how to make people's lives better, and you do know how to make your organisation better, and you do know how to make your community work better, and you do know how to make the world a better place, because that is what we do. Thank you and goodbye.